Okay, I think we're live. It is 12:50 a.m. Hey Marv, how are you? Good to see you. 8/25, 2024. I'm gonna try to check out some of the true crime news of the week. Quick update though. Over on the other channel that I have, just in case anybody likes football, we're starting the football pool. Me and my son. So if you like football, we'll be over there. Hey Mustang, how are you? Good to see you. And I'll leave in the description at some point. I'll leave the link to over there. I think it's DGR Dave 2, but that's basically uh, not true crime related. It's just more go Packers. Yeah, did I pick the Packers this week? Hey buddy, how are you? I don't know if I picked the Packers or not. I think I did. Yeah, I think they're playing Philly. Are they playing Philly? Somebody's playing Philly. Anyways, so that's that. I'll play an intro, then I'll be back and we'll go over one thing. Marv is in the chat. Beyond the Evidence, Marv's channel is absolutely wonderful. Excellent channel. Marv's got a great channel. Hey Heather, how are you? And I was just over on Southern Gal's chat talking about some music through the years. She's awesome. Southern Gal is great. But anyways, enough of my babbling. I'll try to play an intro. Just let you know I still have this piece of crap computer. But I'll try to play the intro and I'll be right back, I think. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Been a long, busy week. Put it that way. Let's see here. Let me try to play this one. Be right back. All right, so that looked like crap. It's just all right. Let's try to say, hey Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. Heather Brown is here. Dean's here. Marv is here. Dandy Linus is here. Good to see you, Dandy. Hope you're well. Hope everybody's well. We're gonna go over some of the true crime stuff during the week that happened last week. It was. I have no one to talk to though. No, I never did you. I was on Southern Gal's chat talking about music, and then I had to go inside and make my coffee, and then a little late, 12:50. Sorry. Good to see everybody though. All right, so what did I want to do first? I want to go over a couple of things here. But I want to listen to this interview first with, I don't know if anybody's seen this yet, but it's, I think, pretty telling. It's the interview with Madeline Soto's mom. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find this here. I just had it. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so this is. Hold on a second. Let me find this here for you. Anyways, I'll find it. Actually, I'll play this one first. We're going to go to Mamta Kaffel's Bats case here. This has been all over the news lately, so let's play this one first, and I'll go find that other one. So let me play this here. Hope everybody's having a good night. Been a pretty long week for me here, but let's play this here. All right, so this is the I'm going to butcher this name, Mamta Kaffel Bats case, and she went alive. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and they just arrested her husband for concealing of a corpse. But they did a search warrant of his house, and after they searched his house, I think they arrested him. We'll play a few of these. So let me get out of here and play this here. This poor woman, it's just so sad, just horribly awful. So let's play this here.
Wife's disappearance is in Manassas Park, remains in a Prince William County jail without bond. The 37-year-old was in court this morning for the first time, facing a single count of concealing a death.
Hello, Miss Barbara Hall. How are you? Good to see you. Had a lot of fun over there on SG's chant with the music stuff, for sure.
Dead body. Our Rafael Sanchez Cruz was inside the courtroom and joins us live outside of the Prince William County Courthouse right now. Rafael, the biggest bombshell that we learned in this case was that that man is alleged to have killed his wife.
That's right, Larry, but he has not been charged with murder. In these documents obtained just a couple hours ago, they say that Naresh Bhatt killed his 28-year-old wife. However, prosecutors have not presented any evidence that he in fact did it. I want to make something clear. Naresh Bhatt has never confessed to murder. But the evidence found inside the home paints a very gruesome story. Prince William County prosecutors say that inside the family's Manassas Park home, investigators found evidence that Mamta's dead body was inside the residence and that it was dragged out. Using Blue Star technology, detectives say they found evidence of pools of blood throughout the home, mainly in the primary bedroom. Prosecutors say the entire primary bedroom bathroom lit up with the technology.
So we're just going over this Mamta case here for anybody just came in. Hi, Bling. How are you? Good to see you. Farqu's in here. Farq, I gave you a wrench, and I gave Mustang a wrench. Just to let you guys know. Who else is in here? Anyways, we're just going over this case. They arrested the husband for, I think it was concealing a corpse. They haven't charged him with the official unaliving, but I'm pretty sure that's coming in the near future here. Good to see everybody, though. Hope everybody's good.
And when investigators removed the tub, they found blood in the caulking. Now, the Commonwealth's attorney says that on July 30th, Naresh Bhatt purchased 3 knives at a Chantilly Walmart. 2 of those knives have not been found. They also have video evidence of him buying cleaning supplies at another Walmart the next day. Prosecutors say that throughout the investigation, Bhatt lied about the timeline of events, telling Manassas Park police that the last time he saw his wife was on July 31st, and then saying it was the morning of August 1st. When Manassas Park police conducted that welfare check on August 2nd, investigators say that Naresh Bhatt did not want to report Mamta missing because she was with family in Texas or New York, but Mamta doesn't have family.
This is a terribly sad case. This is awful. This is another one of those, just awful cases here.
In the U.S., police say he also told them that Mamta had destroyed her phone before disappearing. It was also revealed today in court that Naresh sold his blue Tesla to CarMax this past Monday and that he tried to sell his home to 2 people recently. Officers say they found the home.
Who buys? I mean, the whole thing about buying cleaning supplies, right? Like, that's definitely a red flag.
packed up with suitcases in his room, and that both Naresh and his daughter's passports were in sight outside of court. Those who love Mamta were stunned by today's revelations. Let's listen.
Absolutely shocking.
What stood out to you the most?
I think there's several things. The amount of evidence that they could release, the volume of blood, they used the words blood pooling. They identified large volumes of what like blood stains. I don't think that we were quite prepared for the image that they painted of what actually occurred, most likely in that.
Hello, Jenny. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming over. Just a quick reminder, if anybody wants a wrench, I always promote, giving people wrenches in here. You don't have to do anything with the wrench. It's just if you have channels that you like to post. I, for one, think Barbara Hall needs a wrench. But if you have, channels you like to post, there's a lot of great content creators out there. And feel free to post them. So if you guys want a wrench, just let me know. Yeah, Marv, you're going to get a wrench for sure. Absolutely. Marv is a great person. Marv is a fantastic content creator. She's doing a great job on the Tabitha case. So, yes, Marv will get a wrench.
Master bedroom and master bathroom. While we've all had our own ideas, I don't think the horrific nature of it was what we expected to hear today.
Now, Naresh Bhatt is due back in court on October 24th. He's being...
I don't even want to bother trying to pronounce his name. Hey, Big Fish, Small Pond. Good to see you. Just going over the Mamta Bhatt's case here a little bit.
Being represented by a court-appointed public defender who can still file a motion regarding his bond. The good news in all of this is that the Nepalese community tells us that Mamta's mother has received her emergency visa to come from Nepal to the United States to be reunited with Mamta's one-year-old daughter. I know she's been waiting for this for a very...
It's just so sad they have a one-year-old daughter, too. It's just, hey, Southern Gal, good to see you. I just saw you over there on your channel. Southern Gal has arguably one of the greatest channels on the planet. We were just talking about music and the 80s, back when most of us had hair.
A long time. I'm live in Manassas. Back to you, Larry.
You can only imagine what that family is going through as they prepare to make their way here to the United States, given the circumstances that they're currently facing. Raphael, thank you so much. WUSA 9 was the first station to draw attention to this story, and we've been following this case since day one. We made it easy for you to catch up on all of the developments that have happened since Mamta first disappeared. Take out your phone, scan the QR code on your screen. A link will pop up, and that will take you to our complete coverage on the tireless search for answers since her disappearance.
All right, let's do this here. Hope everybody's having a good night.
When Mamta did not report to work and no one could contact her, co-workers...
All right, so this will give us a timeline of this whole ordeal here. Vinny does a really good job of this here, so that's why I decided to play this one here. So here we go.
Mamta worked as a pediatric nurse at Prince William Medical Center. In August of 2023, Mamta gave birth to a baby girl, the first child of Mamta and Naresh. And then Mamta went back to work. Early in 2024, there were some reported marital issues for the couple, and Mamta moved out of the house for a short while before returning. Then, on August 1st, when Mamta did not report to work and no one could...
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I signed a petition the other day. I had no idea of it until I saw Southern Gal's chat with Miss Barbara Halls in the chat too. Hello, Selective Detective True Crime Deductions. Good to see you. You can post anything in here you want. I don't want to get out of this. I'm still using this piece of crap computer here. My backup is on the way. But if I will be giving anybody that Barbara Hall's going to get a wrench, Mara's going to get a wrench. If anybody else wants a wrench, let me know. That way you can post all of the stuff in the chat. But yeah, absolutely. If you want to post the petition, absolutely. Yes.
Contact her. Co-workers asked for a welfare check to be done. Police went to the house, and eventually Mamta was officially declared as
Involuntary critical, so involuntary. Yeah. Missing. So I'll probably read this later.
an involuntarily missing person. And now her family, co-workers, and members of the community are wondering what happened to Mamta. As always, people don't just vanish. Something happened. Now, people can voluntarily leave, but that's not the case here. Investigators believe that it's involuntary, meaning something happened. She did not want to leave, and that's why she's missing. Interesting. I want you to take a look here.
That's why I do that with the wrenches, because there's so many great creators out there. There's so many, it's one of the reasons why I'm here, to get, some more attention to some of these cases that don't get a lot of attention. So if anybody knows of a great creator like Southern Gal, Honeybee has a great channel. Marv's got a great channel. They all have great channels. So that's why I give people wrenches so that they can post their content creator stuff in here.
The USA 9 in
because it would literally take me forever to find these channels. I'd be looking for these channels forever to post them in the chat. So if anybody wants to post anything in here, go right ahead. As long as it's not like,
Washington, D.C., covering the story, did an interview with Mamta's husband. And I want to read part of that to you. The reporter, talk to me about the last time you saw her.
So this is the husband here. In the evening of Wednesday, this is probably going to be a lie here. In the evening of Wednesday, we were here and then we ate together. Yes.
And then her husband says, in the evening of Wednesday, we were here and then we ate together. Yes. The reporter says, what did she say? What was she like? The husband then says, we don't like
any type of that. It was like a normal day. This is a lie. Like other regular days. Taking care of our babies, it was like very normal. No.
We don't have like any type of that. It was like a normal day, like other regular days. Just, like taking care of our baby. It was like.
It's amazing how these stories will change when they find more evidence, right? And they get questioned again. It's these people are really bad actors, I'm not saying he did it, but it's getting close, right? Like
very normal. The reporter asked, did she say anything about leaving? And the husband, Naresh Bhatt, says, no. So he's saying that they ate dinner together on the 31st. She didn't say.
Thank you, SG. Thank you for all the people who are posting the stuff in here.
Anything about leaving, and then she's gone. So
this was done 2 days ago.
Big question when there's a missing person. It's usually the first question that you ask. And it's my first question tonight, which I think is important to understand. When was Mamta last seen? When and by whom? Like, where's the last proof that, there's Mamta? Let me bring in my guest. Joining me Nepalese journalist who interviewed Mamta's husband, mother, and brother. Sachi Manali is with us. Also with us, retired police commander and host of the Profiling Evil podcast.
It's always the husband. It's amazing how true that statement is, right? It's like always going to be the husband.
Mike King, thank you both for being here. Sachi, I know you have really got a lot of information about this. So what do we know about people seeing Mamta and when the last time was that they saw her?
Thank you for having me. Actually, there are little bit of confusion, looks like, because when I asked his husband, when I interviewed Mamta's husband, he said July 31st is the night he saw her last. But when I interviewed Mamta's mother is back home in Nepal. So whenever it's like 28, if it's 28th July here, it's 29th morning there. If it's night, then it's morning there.
I mean, how many people think this guy's guilty? I do. This is my opinion.
Next day. So she told me July 30th is the last day she talked to Mamta, and she used to talk to her 2-3 times a day in a video call.
Okay, well, let me make sure I'm clear on this. So Mamta would speak to her mother, who's in Nepal, overseas, but would speak to her 2 to 3 times every day?
I say all the time, every time I come on, I have the greatest people in this chat. Anybody that can stay up this freaking late to watch my show is awesome. So I really appreciate everybody posting channels in this chat because, like I said, the more I'll be getting back into some deep dives pretty soon. Once I get my newer computer. I don't want to chance this one with anything new. But anyways, spreading the word is good on these cases because, that's how it works.
Yes, they used to do the video calls, and she said that on the last day, her face was very gloomy. So as a mother, she asked, what happened? Are you okay? Then Mamta said that everything is fine. And from what I am hearing from all of her friends, childhood friends, even including her husband, Mamta never used to have a gloomy face, they said. Even the husband agreed to that.
Yes, Mind of Monsters is awesome. I kind of found a new channel too. I don't know if it's new, but I was subscribed to it. It's Truth and Transparency, I think. She's awesome. Watched her, and Steve is just great. Steve is a god, literally. Truth and Transparency, I was watching her, and then of course Lighting the Way Home too was good.
Highly inspirational. She never shares her things with other people because there is kind of stigma to it if other people know about our personal matters and they start talking about it. So she used to keep the information to herself.
In fact, that's how I met Steve. The first time I met Steve was on Marv's channel when Marv and Frank were doing lives, and Randy. I remember Steve being on there, so that's how I got to know Steve. So it's Marv's fault. Just kidding.
But there are very few people who she has talked to. Today only I found out that she has been talking about the troubled marriage. On June 24, she talked about her troubled marriage with one of her childhood friend. That information just came up this afternoon. That day she had a gloomy face, mother said. And when I asked Naresh,
yeah, Mel is awesome. Cold Truth I've been watching Cold Truth for a while. She's the one that put me on to, I forget the name now. I'm drawing a blank on that over here in Maine that I've been following. Cold Truth is awesome. Thank you, Miranda and Southern Gal.
about that, he said he has never seen her gloomy face.
Okay, Mike King as an investigator now. So getting some of this information, how do you determine the last time she was seen, and what are the, how do you verify if it's someone in the house, right? If it's the husband, how do you verify that she ate dinner with him that night? She didn't speak to her mom that day, and she speaks to her mom 2 or 3 times a day. So what do you do with that type of information to try to get to the truth here?
Well, I think this timeline's now coming together much clearer, and it's really nice having this guest on who can help us understand that there was another name in there. I'm sure law enforcement has that name and that discussion, or at least I would hope they do. So now we're starting to see.
Heather Brown is she may be starting a channel at some point here. Thank you, Mustang. You're awesome. Kimberly Mariah, is it Kimberly Morin? Is it Morin? Kimberly Morin? I need to get back into that one too. I'm planning on taking a trip up there at some point to I can find it at some point. But she's Mel's the one that put me in on that case there.
The timeline starting to tighten up a little bit. The interesting thing to me, Vinny, is that we have this last day seen at work of the 27th of July here in the United States. So those are firm dates. We have now this idea that she was speaking to her mother possibly on the 30th, but we have a friend who spoke to her on the 28th. And then the husband who's saying, I've talked to her, or we had dinner with her on the 31st, and I went to bed. And there's...
Look at her. She looks so happy there, right? She's definitely pregnant here.
So many interesting dynamics and red flags here that it's just making you really scratch your head. But the thing that you have
she doing the Macarena there? Is that the Macarena? I don't think so.
To do as an investigator now is start putting those together and then corroborating them with other pieces of evidence. If it was a Skype call or something else, was it done on a mobile device? And can that mobile device be digitally analyzed to determine that call was made? Or was it made some other way?
Yeah, Coach Kev had a great live tonight with Galen from the Flora mom. Great live with Coach Kev. Coach Kev is phenomenal in that. There's so many people that have been working really, really hard in that case to keep that case going. Definitely justice for Flora. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about that case. That one, Evansdale, couple other ones. Who did I just see in here? Gail. Hi, Gail. How are you? Good to see you. Gail's awesome too. But Coach Kev did a great live tonight with Galen for sure.
And so there's got to be information to corroborate these little pieces and nuggets of information that are coming along to help tighten that timeline, because those are the things that are going to be needed to really understand.
So reported missing August 5th, last seen July 31st. So that's a little suspect there, right?
The husbands, the friends, or anyone else who might have something to do with this woman.
All right, I wanted to put up on the screen something from the Washington Post, who did some investigating here as well. On July 31st, she did not call her mother in Nepal, as she had faithfully done every morning and evening to share the mundane.
See, this is suspect right here. On July 31st, she did not call her mother in Nepal, as she faithfully did every morning and evening. Milestones her infant daughter was hitting her brother. I mean, why wouldn't you call you? That is strange, right?
What she ate that day. And this is significant. The milestones of her infant daughter was hitting, her brother said in an interview. On August 1st, coworkers called police when she missed a shift at the UVA Health Prince William Medical Center. Manassas Park police officer went to her house the next day to do a welfare check, but left after her husband declined to report her missing. The police department said in a news release the family still had not heard from her, said the brother, who described pleading with his brother-in-law on August 4th to call authorities. So it seems, Sachi, that the family and her husband, so her brother not necessarily seeing eye to eye with her husband at this moment, about the significance of her not being around.
Possibly the only time I'll agree with Ruckus is I think there's 2 people involved in Evansdale, but the hell do I know?
Actually, I have found many contradictory statements already. And today only I was told that the brother, because her mother is not that educated and she has confessed that. So mother might have given us the wrong date. It could be even one day earlier, because I came to know this afternoon. I have not got chance to contact his brother because it's early morning back there right now. So I came to know that actually the date was 29th morning. So I have to verify that after this program, maybe I can verify that. And I have requested a screenshot of that call recording. So that we know which day exactly it is. But mother said in my interview, it's 30th of July.
Yeah, and Mike, how does this get more complicated for investigators? Now, there's something else going on here, right? There's language differences. Obviously, she's speaking to her brother and her mother in their native language, I presume. You, as an investigator, have got to get all the information you can. How do you approach a case like this where there may be some witnesses who may have some language issues and not even be living in the United States, but have important information?
Well, at that point, you're reaching out to your friends at Interpol and you're getting someone locally to go and talk if you can. You're getting translators to help you with understanding, especially the written communication, or if there's a recorded communication somewhere. And you're trying to lean upon all of, again, everything that's we're talking about keeps going back to what do you have that you, because now if in fact this information is correct, Vinny, we have a bigger window of probably 2 days that she could have disappeared. So then as you go back and you look at mobile phone.
In my opinion, the forensics in that house are going to be what kind of solves this thing here. They may never find her, though. That's what sucks.
Records, her mobile phone, if she's been given one for easy access, his mobile phone, the husband's, what's going on in the neighborhood. We have to take into account the cultural differences. Be kept quiet in that Nepali culture that maybe would be more openly talked about in a U.S. dynamic culture, whether these were arranged marriages or love marriages through the Nepali customs. All of those things are going to really play an important part in understanding. And this is where it's so important that we really focus in on victimology and suspectology.
Absolutely. Guests staying with us. Coming up next, why wasn't Mamta reported missing on August 2nd?
On August 2nd, officers responded to Mamta Kofley's residence for a check on her welfare and spoke to her husband, Mr. Bhatt, who at that time provided additional information and did not
Okay, so August 2nd. You're right.
want to report her missing.
Was a reporter brutally murdered for digging too deep?
His death was absolutely devastating.
The suspect, the former politician.
She's a person, she would not run away and she does not do self-harm for herself.
She wouldn't run away. She wouldn't leave her baby, her young child. We're talking about Mamta Kofley, pediatric nurse and a missing mom of a young child. So this case, I think, is really building up in terms of intensity of the community now getting involved in searching, and intensity of the investigation by law enforcement. I want you to take a listen here to.
I mean, people do run away voluntarily. I mean, that does happen. I used to know the statistics on that, but people do voluntarily take off. But this case here, I don't think it's going to be possible because of the stuff they found in the house.
A missing person update. This is from the Manassas Park Police.
On August 2nd, officers responded to Mamta Coughley's residence for a check on her welfare and spoke to her husband, Mr. Bott, who at that time provided additional information and did not want to report her missing. On August 5th, Mr. Bott contacted the police station and reported Mamta Coughley.
Would it be a chat without Dean here? Hey, Dean, if you want to post your OnlyFans page, go right ahead, buddy. Just kidding. Sorry.
As missing.
So August 5th, he reported her missing. He's asking for the public help in locating nothing. On August 2nd. So they went out to do a resident check on her on August 2nd. Okay, so then he reported her missing on the 5th. Okay. So the officers initially determined that Mamta's disappearance did not meet the Virginia State Police criteria for more than a missing person.
Between August 5th and 8th, detectives conducted an extensive investigation and found that there was significant lack of recent contact by Mamta with her family, friends, employer, and on social media postings. Given this and other circumstances, detectives were able to elevate her missing person status to involuntary/critical missing person. July 27th, Mamta was last seen at UVA Health Prince William Medical Center. On July 28th, Mamta spoke to a friend. On July 31st, Mamta was last seen by her husband.
Okay, let's think about the timeline now. Last seen by her husband on July 31st. Then there's August 1st. And then August 2nd is when police come to the house to do a wellness check. Which brings me to my next question in this case. And it has to do with that wellness check. Why wasn't Mamta reported missing on August 2nd? 2 days away from her husband, 2 days away from her little baby. Still with me, Sachi Manali and Mike King. Sachi,
I mean, if my wife went missing, I'd probably report it that same day because we pretty much have, I don't want to say the same routine every single day, but it's pretty close, right? Like, I know people get busy, but I would probably, I think they found a whole lot of stuff in the house. I think it was after they searched the house, they arrested him for the concealing of the corpse thing. Is that who you are? Are you Hulkamania? Are you the Hulk over there on Curious Contrarian?
from your investigation here, what is the reasoning behind 2 days she's gone and her husband doesn't want to report her missing?
I must tell you this, that before I talk to you, I didn't give enough time to transcribe everything. But let me start like this. After talking to Naresh and Mamta's family, there are so many contradictory statements. Naresh, whatever statement Naresh made, I have a proof that is not true already, And Naresh reported on 5th of August after being pressured by Mamta's family.
In my opinion, if you have a daughter that, has this long distance relationship with her mom, like her mom's all the way in Nepal, right? And they talk almost every single day, or they do talk every single day, especially with the birth of a, new child, that's probably going to continue. So to me, that's a red flag if those phone calls stop all of a sudden. That's just, to me, that's a little bizarre.
Family and her cousin who lives in New York. He didn't report by himself.
Because usually in these cases, there's like a lead up to this where there's like a fight or there's an argument or, usually there's a trail of this stuff. It doesn't just happen on that day. It's usually like a, relationship that's starting to go bad, and then it starts to get worse, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. So she's probably telling her mom that, or at least trying to hint about that. That's just my personal opinion. But when those phone calls kind of stop, that's probably, especially after a couple of days, that's probably a red flag.
Mamta's mother called him, repeatedly from Nepal, but he did not pick up the phone on August 3rd. And then I don't know when he replied back. I have to get that timings because I have not collected that yet. But he did not pick up the phone till August 3rd. And then after that, he called back because they were desperate to know the whereabouts of Mamta, but he didn't pick up the phone. And from there, they started contacting the cousin who lives in New York. And that cousin actually texted Naresh asking how Mamta is doing. And then I can read that text to you here, which is in front of me. I have printed the text. On August 2nd, they started chatting. Actually, they have a long chat. They started chatting from August 2nd, asking the whereabouts of Mamta. And then...
Yeah, it definitely could be, Marv. That's... I know they're very, I don't want to say strict, but these things are kind of, culture based, and that could be possible.
What is interesting is on August 4th,
That's why I'm saying, if it was one of those things where the mom and the daughter didn't have this close relationship, then you might understand that her not calling the mom, for a few days or something. But if you have somebody that's calling her mom every single day for, a long period of time, then when they stop doing that, that's usually some sort of a red flag.
On August 4th, the information that Naresh gave to her,
she looks really young,
is quite concerning because till now I have not followed the mainstream media because I'm working tirelessly in the group in a campaign to find Mamta. That's why I have not been able to focus that. But what Naresh told in my show was their relationship was extraordinarily nice. They don't even argue. They don't do anything, but Naresh likes to fight or argue sometimes, but Mamta didn't even used to do that. And he tried to explain it as extraordinarily wonderful or extraordinarily nice. And on August 4th, the lady, she's not her, the Naresh texts her saying she's not at her work. She might be at her apartment.
Usually when I hear, you always hear these cases where, first, not talking about this person here, but sometimes first-time moms or even second-time moms, because I know my sister Lynn had this, they get the postpartum depression type thing sometimes, and you never know what can happen when that happens. Not saying that happened in this case, but it could have happened. But after what I've read or heard about what they found on the search warrants, I don't think that's possible in this case. But that does happen sometimes where that postpartum depression is pretty severe.
It's amongst all other text. And August 4th at 12:32 a.m., the cousin asked Naresh, "Did you guys have fight again?" Naresh writes, "No. We decided to separate with respect. No any discussion at all. Even we don't argue. She wanted to move either New York or Texas." Naresh has been saying that their relationship is extraordinarily wonderful, nice. They even used to watch TV once a week together. They don't even argue. He likes Mamta to comment on him sometimes, but she's not even doing that. Whereas after her missing on August August 4th,
The thing that really sucks is this child is never going to have a normal life now. It's just going to suck. These things are so devastating to the children, especially if she's, found obviously not alive. It's just going to suck.
Formally to the police, he says, no, we decided to separate with respect.
Wow.
So I asked her mother. I was about to talk to her, and then I said, did anyone threaten you or, bribe you or something to come to this interview? She said, I read that to you. I didn't have much time to transcribe, but I have a gist of it. She said they have a tea shop in Nepal. They keep on telling that our son-in-law knows everything. She cried, mentioning that I am very worried for my daughter, whether I can see her or not. So I came to this show myself. Even before I asked the question, she started telling everything, that her husband, my son-in-law, had done physical abuse to my daughter earlier as well in last February. But I was in touch with my daughter, even when 2 times she was out of the house. She stayed with a friend for a week.
This is the typical, this is what I'm saying. This is the typical, all too typical, just abuse that happens. And, it's just a suck pill. This is awful.
So, and after that, she moved to an apartment for 8 to 9 days. But that time, her in-laws knew, her husband knew, her
Everyone
parents,
knew. This
everybody
time,
knew about that.
wow. Sachi,
Everyone
this
knew.
is huge. This is huge.
This time,
Let me just cut you off for a
This
second.
time,
I just have to
no
cut you
one-
off for a second.
Yeah.
We're looking at pictures from WUSA, a search of the
that's a beautiful house. That's a beautiful, beautiful house right there.
marital home. I just want to bring Mike King in just to get a little reaction to all these major developments that you are reporting for us. Mike, what are your thoughts here? A potential statement by the husband that they had separated on the 4th before he reports her missing on the 5th. That makes no sense.
Yeah, this whole thing, again, like I said earlier, is so filled with red flags. The idea that there's past behavior that, as we've said before on this show, is always predictive of future behavior, that this domestic violence cycle that occurs is a true thing and a real principle, and that it can lead to domestic violence homicide. Now, whether that's the case in this situation or this woman had some emotional break and had to leave the area, we don't know, Vinny. But with the things that are happening with a child birthday and
it's all about
the importance of being a mother, it just doesn't fit, does it?
No,
this is sucky. This is really bad. This is you just want to help as much as you possibly can. It's just that's what I say. These red flags. She was probably trying to tell her mom the whole time. But she probably felt like there was nothing that she could do. It sucks.
Doesn't. All right. Sachi Manali and Mike King, unreal developments here.
All right. So I'll keep following that as much as I possibly can. Not looking good, though. I'll put it at like 90% probably not alive. But stranger things have happened for sure. All right, so I'm going to kill this here. My computer's taking forever. I want to get to that Jen Soto interview, so let's hold on a second. Wait for my computer to load. There we go. All right, so here is this interview. All right, so this is going to come from Fox in Orlando, I think, and this is So this is the interview with Jennifer Soto after the Florida teen's disappearance. This was done February 27th, 2024. So I think this is like right after. And this is really, really disturbing, in my opinion. This is just horrible how this kid was treated. This is, if people don't know about this, Madeline Soto went missing teen in late February. She was obviously unalived. She was being SA'd for who knows how long by this piece of dog shit, Stephen Stearns. But this is the interview. I don't know if I'm going to do all of this because this is an hour long, but we'll do some of it. But this whole interview, as far as I'm concerned, is a little bit just horrible. It's just bizarre. This whole thing is just, I don't know how people can treat children like this. It's just amazingly horrible. Just, all right, so here we go.
Saw her, I'm going to say Sunday night.
Okay.
I heard her one day getting ready for school.
So you last saw her Sunday night about what time?
I would say 11 p.m. before she went to bed.
And you were here at home?
If people can't hear this, let me know because I've got it. I got the volume plotted here, so if you can't hear it, I'll put the closed captioned on.
Gotcha. And where did she go to bed? Was she in her room, your room, or something else?
She actually slept upstairs with. We have a guest bedroom. We were all going to sleep together in the same bed, but I needed some good sleep. And
I mean, who does that? In this day and age, who does that? Like, she just said that so nonchalantly, like, you know, we all slept in the same bed. But that night she was just really tired. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of that before in my life, where you have a mom, a stepdad, and their child sleeping in the same bed. It's just, I don't know where that culture comes from, but I've never heard of that before in my life. We weren't even allowed in our parents' room.
I got a new job recently. I haven't been well rested. I needed some sleep. So I asked, hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs? I knew he was going to get her ready.
Sorry. Okay. So you needed some good sleep. So was it about 11 o'clock?
Yeah. I sent them upstairs and I went to bed.
Okay. And
she sent them upstairs. Them. Not just one person. She sent them upstairs.
That was about 11.
Yeah.
And do you guys normally all sleep together? Because I know you said that she sleeps
Thank you, Marv.
in your room with you typically, right?
She sleeps with me typically. Typically when comes into town, because he lives with his parents in Northport, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes to town, he'll sleep in the guest bedroom.
Okay. And Stefan is the one you're referring to, right?
Yeah, Stephen.
How often?
I just don't think I've ever heard of that before. I've been trying to give this woman the benefit of the doubt. But when it doesn't make any, this whole thing doesn't make any freaking sense to me. It's just really weird. Like, who would do that? Especially a mom. I'd kick the son of a bitch out. No, that's not happening. Get out of my room.
Does he stay here?
Oh. He moved away back in December, so I'm going to say he's visited at least 2 to 3 times since then.
Okay. Why did he move away?
He was offered a better, well, his dad had offered him a job, but it fell through.
Oh.
So now we're trying to get him back here.
And he just visits.
Yeah.
When he visits, does he stay for like hours, days, weeks?
I would say days. This time we had planned on him staying a whole week because I was going through training at work. So I wanted him to be here to help me with the dog, help me with the training.
Okay, so this time he was planning to stay for a week. How long has he been here? Or when did he arrive, rather, this time?
I can't remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning.
This guy is such a piece of shit. He wasn't even working. You know, like what is his role? Why is he even like? I understand the whole like wanting to be with somebody stuff, but why this guy? I mean, this guy had absolutely no purpose in life, none, zippo. This is just weird.
Okay, that's fine. Sometime this weekend?
Yeah.
So that was last night around 11. And so about what time did you hear her on Monday morning?
I heard everyone getting ready around.
Hey, buddy, how are you? It's Curious Contrarian. He has a channel too. Curious Contrarian's awesome. I've been over there a lot, especially driving. He does nighttime stuff just like I do. Great channel over there. Good to have you in here, buddy. I saw you over there too on Frosty's channel, Fire and Ice. They got a great channel too. Yeah, I agree with that. This is completely unacceptable to. I mean, I've just never heard of this. I don't know. And I think there was like 4 bedrooms in that condo that they were living in. So yeah, this is odd.
Around, I'm going to say 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And was it just Steph? Who else lives there?
I have roommates.
Okay.
I have Angelica Negro, who's one roommate, and then Natalie Rosiero.
Okay. And you just heard all of them, or did you hear anyone specific?
No, I just heard, if anything, Stefan came and woke me up accidentally because he was trying to let the dog out.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog gets really nervous sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to help him with that, get him on his leash. But he got him situated and took him for a walk.
Okay. Did you hear around 7 or 8?
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was exactly.
Who it was exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
It could have been any of the roommates.
But you didn't see her leave Monday morning. Were you still in bed or still in your room?
I was still asleep, yeah.
Gotcha. What time does she normally leave for school?
We usually leave around 8:50 at the latest.
Okay. What time does she have to be to school by?
9:28 is when school starts.
Gotcha. And so I think you had said the previous night, you and Stefan had agreed that he was going to get.
Thank you, Senegal, for posting Fire and Ice. Yeah, he just needs to. This guy belongs in prison, man. This or worse. I have absolutely no respect for this guy, Stefan Stearns. He's just a predator. He's got no business being in society whatsoever.
Yeah.
And take her in the morning? Okay.
And they were going to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast, but she changed her mind last minute and did not want McDonald's.
Okay. When'd you find that out?
When did I find that out? When Stefan called me around 10:18 in the morning, I had stepped out to go get blood work done, and he had just let me know that he just got back home from running a few errands, and that I asked, did you guys ever just stop at McDonald's? And he said no, she changed her mind. He tried convincing her a few times, but she did not want McDonald's anymore.
I mean, this is just my opinion. I know everybody's technically innocent until proven guilty, but you know, I don't have to think that. I mean, I have my own. This guy's guilty as shit, and he deserves the worst possible punishment that could ever be inflicted upon another human being for doing this to a freaking child. It's just, it's so freaking sad. It just is. It's,
What time did you leave the house yesterday in the morning? Or what time did you step out, rather?
I'm going to say around 9:30.
Had Stefan returned at all?
No.
So you were
no.
there from, just so I have my times kind of right. So,
and I keep telling people, like, in where they are, right down there in Kissimmee and Orlando, you can't go anywhere down there without being on film. There's cameras everywhere. There's closed circuit cameras everywhere. If anybody's been to Disney World or Epcot Center or anywhere in the Kissimmee area, there's so many businesses that have, you can't even stop at a freaking traffic light without being on camera. I mean, there's cameras everywhere. So they probably had him on camera everywhere driving around with her. Just, I can't wait to see the amount of digital forensic evidence they have in this case. My God.
you woke up around 7 or 8. You saw Stefan, because you helped him with the dog because he was letting the dog out, right?
Yeah.
And then did you go back to sleep, or were you just kind of in the room?
I laid back down and went back to sleep.
Okay. And then do you remember what time you woke up after that?
I believe I set my alarm for 9 a.m.
Gotcha. So it would have been around 9 a.m. that you woke up. And in that time, you didn't see Stefan return at all? Okay. You left around 9:30, and then Stefan called you around 10 to say he got home?
Yeah.
Cool. Got it. Did he say anything else aside from she didn't want to?
I think they have 2 cars, right? They have they had 2 cars leaving his car that left. I forget what time his car left, and then he went out. I'm pretty sure it was him. Went out again afterwards at like 3:30 or so. So they have plenty of footage of that happening.
Want to go to McDonald's?
About her, no. About his morning, yes. He had tried going to the vape shop when it opened right after he dropped her off from school.
I gotta let my dog out. Hold on a second.
And waited, but they never opened on time. So he came back, hung out a little bit. And he came home around 10 and then went back out eventually to the vape store to go get some vape stuff.
So he left after 10. What time did you get back home for the day?
Let me check something. I want to check what time my blood work appointment was at. I'll give you more of an accurate time.
Yeah.
Okay, so my appointment was at 10:15 and it took them 45 minutes to see me. So I didn't get home until 11:15, 11:30.
And it was
He sits in the like I'm outside the slider here, and this dog will sit looking out the door, the slider, until I let him out. And his head is so freaking large that that's all I see is his head. So, and he only wants to go out when I'm doing a live. It's so weird.
stepping back at that point in time.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And then what did the day look like after that? It's fine.
So I did my blood work, and I came back, and then I just waited. I waited for the rest of the day until
Daybell is back in the news. Yeah, in the Delphi case, when you think something's going to happen, nothing happens. This has been going on forever. Like, there's this hearing that's supposed to happen, and all of a sudden it doesn't happen. It's so bizarre. The Delphi case is so weird.
2:30 to leave. Well, I waited.
That case will be pushed up again. That case will be, if people are thinking that's going to go to trial in October, that news for you, it's probably not going to happen.
The car line, so I'm first in line to pick her up.
Yeah, that car line can be vicious. So you left approximately 2:30.
Yeah.
And pickups around 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you got there at 4, then what happened?
I waited in the car line for about 10 minutes and came out. So I thought maybe
I'm pretty sure all you guys are young in here compared to me. I'm dirt. I'm older than dirt here. I passed that can't remember shit thing a long time ago, man. Everybody knows. I can't remember anything. And the funny thing is I still think I'm kind of young, so I do kind of young things. Like I was out here working on a freaking car today, and I just can't do that stuff anymore. I'll be feeling that for the rest of the week.
I missed her. I couldn't remember if I told her I was picking her up from school that day or if she had to walk to the office.
Okay.
So I went to the office to see if
How do you not know this shit? I mean, what is going on here? How do you not know this stuff? Right? This is so weird. It's a routine, isn't it? It's like your daughter goes to school, somebody's there to drop her off, somebody's there to pick her up, right? You know this stuff. I mean, I understand that you can't remember some stuff, but in routine like this, you should be able to remember what goes on. This is just, this whole interview I find very infuriating.
she made it. She never did. I drove around a little bit.
Okay.
I drove around a little bit. Looking for her, I went back to the school. The school was closed at this point. I wanted to speak to somebody at the office to see if anybody could tell me if she had been there.
That sucks, Barbara. That sucks. That sounds like something I would do. Ran into the washing machine. Oh. I have to take steps very slowly these days, like steps. Because in my house, there's usually something always on the stairs. So you got to walk around that. But yeah, stairs. I have to sit when I blow my nose so I don't get dizzy. Oh, I hope you're okay, Barbara. That sounds like something I'd do, though. Mark.
I think at this point I had called, before I went to the school, I actually called her best friend and I said, with you, I can't find her. She didn't walk to the office and she wasn't at school when I went to pick her up.
The car thing is great. Like, sometimes you get in the car and you forget that you didn't close a door. Not driving away, you notice this, that little light saying there's a door open in the car. And you're looking up. Shit, I forgot to shut the door.
She said she never made it. She's it's a first or second period, and I'm like, what do you mean? I dropped her off, or we dropped her off close to school.
That's just a crazy old guy driving around with a door open. I shouldn't be laughing. It's not funny. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, that's awful. You poor thing. Poor Barbara. Yeah, you better get that checked.
And she said she didn't make it to first, second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends. She did.
Has anybody heard the interview of the calls that they made to the police that day? It took them forever to get somebody out to their house. I think that's really weird, too. They kept saying they were going to send a deputy, and deputy never showed up, and just odd. The whole thing is odd.
She got back to me and said none of them saw her today. I emailed one of her teachers. Her teacher texted me her attendance for the whole day and told me she wasn't in school at all. That's when I knew something was wrong, and I freaked out.
I mean, I just feel so horrible for this kid. You know, it's just, the years of freaking abuse that she had to go through with this piece of dog shit, you know, and just was never able to have a normal child life. You know, it's just, when you think about these things, it just makes you really angry that people can actually freaking do this stuff. It's just monsters, man, just absolute monsters, animals.
Okay. Is it typical to walk to after school?
If I'm working, yes.
And where? I mean, in relation to the school, like, is it a close walk, long walk?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to make it to 71. That's so I don't have to worry about that.
It's very close walk.
Okay. So typically in the morning, or I guess before Stefan moved, did he live with y'all? So it's typical of him to be able to get her ready in the mornings and drop her to school. Do y'all tend to split that responsibility, or what does that look like?
Typically, I do it.
Okay.
This morning, because of my work schedule, because I've been so exhausted.
See, this guy is asking all the right questions, right? You know, that's what I noticed from this interview. He's doing such a great job of asking her very, very important questions, like this whole work schedule, right?
Him to take over and do it, and he said he would.
Okay. Has he done it before, though? Like, is he familiar with how to drop her off? And
I'm gonna say he's done it once or twice before. I'm not too sure.
Okay. In the time since he's been back, well, not this time because he's only come back over the weekend, but in the other times, he's done it maybe once or twice.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Is there any reason that he drops her off, or he dropped her off a block away instead of dropping her off to the school?
Because she asked. Because she is embarrassed of his car.
Really? When did she express that?
multiple times when we've been like, okay, I think Stefan might take you to school or he might pick you up. She goes, can he pick me up far away? Can he leave me here? Like, I don't want to be seen. I'm just like,
What car does he drive? I'm curious.
it's that Buick.
Oh, okay.
But to her, that's an old
No.
car.
Fancy taste. I get it.
She said Buick, right? I'm pretty sure she said Buick. All right, we'll listen to a little bit more of that. I want to go into another case, but I found this interesting here.
Can you remember anything about Sunday or Saturday or this weekend where she may have said that she was wanting to hang out with friends or something she was wanting to do or anything?
On Sunday, she actually had a party and she had some friends come over. So she hasn't expressed that she wanted. She actually got to spend time with friends and family. She had a great Sunday. She came back with a lot of presents. She was super happy.
Okay. So no arguments at home recently or anything?
No, nothing like that.
So that kind of rules out the running away thing, right?
Has she ever, in the totality of, I guess, everything, as long as she's been, ever gone off to spend time by herself or gone to hang out at a park by herself or something to kind of clear her own head?
So there's a lake right behind this building. She'll sometimes sit at the dock by the lake, but I check on her often.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, if she, I don't know if something at school upset her, something here upset her. Not that it would be anyone's fault, but if there's somewhere that she may go for.
You don't have any ibuprofen, Barbara? I don't know if you're supposed to take muscle relaxers from 2022. Okay, Marv. Thank you. I don't think you're supposed to take. Don't these things have an expiration date? I take some ibuprofen. That's just me.
For peace of mind.
Yeah, it would be the lake right behind the house.
Does she do any extracurriculars?
No.
Got it. Now your roommates, I know you told me their names earlier, but can you give them to me again? I didn't write them down.
Sure. Angelica. And then Negro, Nigro. And then Nathalie, which is Nathalie. Rosero.
Rosero. Okay.
See, I think she, I think what she was going through was starting to, when you get into these grades here, 12 and 13, you start hanging around with friends. And, what you thought might have been normal, once you start hanging around with friends, you start realizing that this stuff isn't normal. So she might have been, on the verge of telling somebody about it. And that's why this happened, is because this guy didn't want to be found out. That's just my opinion.
Other phone numbers by chance, if they're not here? Are you okay? Do you have to use the bathroom?
No, I'm just anxious.
Oh, okay.
I've got anxiety. Let me see. Where is... Okay, Angelica, she primarily speaks Spanish, so you probably need a Spanish speaker.
Yeah, ibuprofen is my go-to usually if, there's pain, because it is an anti-inflammatory. So that might help a little bit if you get some ibuprofen, but it really kills your stomach, that stuff. So I don't take that as much as I used to. When I get migraines, I do. I take, either ibuprofen or the acetaminophen. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. We've learned a lot of that. I may play a little bit of something about this a little later. I do want to go to this case here. Hold on a second here. This is the D. Warner case. This is very, very good news. I mean, good or bad news, but at least there's some answers here with this. Hold on a second. Let me share this here. Okay, so this is the D. Warner case. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about this here. This is coming from Detroit News, and on Channel 7, Michigan State Police say additional investigation by the Jackson County Medical Examiner's Office has confirmed the body found on Dale Warner's property is that of his missing wife, Dee. Dee's brother, Greg Hardy, spoke on Thursday, just a day after the medical examiner confirmed that it was Dee's body. Hardy got emotional during the speech, thanking the people that were able to figure this thing out. So here we go.
Thank you all for coming, trying to get the information correct. I'd like to say a couple things to start with. One, we certainly have positively identified my sister. There's no variance in it. It's 100%, so there's nothing to not accept as fact. There's a little misunderstanding regarding.
Thank you, Southern Gal. Yeah, this is another one of those cases where, feels like bugs crawling. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to take too much ibuprofen. I've been there. It's not good on your. But if you take it, once in a while, it's fine. I think. I don't know.
Some comments that have been made about the cause of death. There is one. I'm not going to be talking about it. That's up to the authorities to discuss, and I'm sure they will be. This has been as you know, a damn long effort. The issue has been a lot of hard work by authorities, by my family, by Honda. The harder you work, the luckier you get. And there's certainly been a little luck here. And it's so damn lucky, I'm not sure there wasn't some divine interference, but we'll see. Okay. The point of it is we've gotten here with having found her body. It's bittersweet, and it was honestly unexpected after 3.5 years. But again, we got lucky with maybe some divine interference that maybe helped us. All during this period of time, the centerpiece of what we've done has been based on truth. Sorry. It's been based on finding the truth, getting the facts, and then striving for justice. And that's what we really accomplished here. We got the last leg to get done, and that's the justice part. But we have stuck to the truth. We've stuck to the facts. And although we've been criticized up and down and around by lots of people, We've only functioned with those two factors, and then we're expecting to get justice, and I believe we will. There's so many people that deserve credit. The Justice for D group. I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on doing that. These people have been beyond.
This poor guy, you know, just lost a sister. You know, it just freaking sucks. You know, I mean, there is no such thing as justice for these people. Just horrible.
Anything, loyal, fought hard, given up time, money, everything for the cause they believe in. There's been thousands of people who have sent prayers and good wishes. People we know, people we don't know, people we feel like we know. And
this is seriously the reason why I'm in this business, because it's brutal. I mean, this stuff here gets on your mind, gets on your nerves. You know, these pathetic individuals that feel like they can just take, you know, somebody's life like this. They leave like a path of destruction. You know, these people will never, ever, ever be the same. And their lives are technically, I don't want to say ruined, but they're just not going to be the same. This person here, and everybody that's involved, it's sad. It just sucks.
also very grateful for them. And they certainly helped. Of course, most of all, my family and friends, my immediate family, my wife, Shelley, my son, Parker, have probably some of you picked up what a cantankerous guy I am, so they deserve all the thanks for that. Tolerating me has been, excuse me, a lot of work. There's been extended family. Catherine Adams over here has certainly been an extended family member. She has worked tirelessly, not only with the Justice for D group, but I can't tell you how many times I've asked her to do things and there's never been any hesitation. And for that, we appreciate it.
Nobody deserves this stuff. Nobody. This is just brutal. It's just terrible.
The real close person in this for my sister, and not been talked about much, is what was her assistant at the office.
Hey, buddy. If Fire and Ice is in the house, good to see you, man. I appreciate the shout out on your channel the other night. You guys are awesome. I was over there. I completely forgot you guys were on. I got a notification, but there's when I'm working at night, sometimes I have really good cell phone service and sometimes I don't. But you guys had a great live last night. Awesome. Awesome live. Fire and Ice is awesome. I can never tell if this is Frosty or Mark. But anyways, good to see you.
Office. And Stephanie Vogel has stood by my sister from the very beginning, stayed at the office, fought for her, put up with Warner when she was still there, and she carried on and to this day. So, and she's given up a lot with her family because of this, and it's been horrendous on her. So, thanks to her. You all know, you've heard it's in the press a number of times. The guy has been special has been Billy Little and his buddy Chris McGow. He was the first here as a professional when we had no professional standing by us. And he gave us courage. He gave us knowledge. He's an experienced guy in this thing. We had no experience. And he deserves special attention because of what he did for us and what he did for this cause. His friend, Chris McDowell, is behind the scenes. You're not seeing much of him, but his psychological analysis, because he was a psychological analysis person for the LA Police Department, has been very important to us. One moment, please. Sorry, I dropped my own notes. There's been so many tips that have been given by.
You guys are awesome too. Frosty is great. Big fan of Frosty. Big fan of Fire and Ice. You just got home from the Bacon Fest. I don't think I've ever been to a Bacon Fest, but it sounds good. All these great channels. Very, very respectful for all these great channels. I mean, just all need to stick together because this stuff here is, whatever the outcome. I don't agree with everybody all the time, but then again, I don't disagree with everybody all the time. But all of these channels, Marv, Southern Cal, Frosty, Mark, great channels. Great channels.
People in the community just to try to help. And they've been very, very good. And some of them have been very, very important in this investigation. I'd like to point.
I mean, this stuff sucks. Talking about death and unalivings and children being unalived and just, domestic stuff. It sucks to talk about all the time. But, it's for a cause. It's for a good cause. The victims' families. I don't care who did it, as long as they catch the right person. And, it's one of those things, it's about them. It's not about me, that's for sure.
Point them out as having been a special part of this. And then, we have the criminal side to face yet. We faced a horrible situation on the civil side, but where we had to fight Warner every step of the way.
I was listening to a case, I think it was a couple nights ago, where it was like a 27-year-old case. It went cold, and the family was just besides themselves for a long, long, long time. And they finally, through, I think it was genetic DNA genealogy testing, they found the person. And it was another 2 or 3 years or so, after they arrested the person. And the guy pled, he got a plea deal and ended up doing, I think it was 3 to 10 years. He got, thank you, Marv, for coming in. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. So just because they arrest somebody doesn't mean the case is over. This guy got 3 to 5 years on a plea deal after a really, really brutal crime. It's just, I think he got convicted of manslaughter or something like that. Or these cases aren't over once they arrest somebody. It takes a long time to get through the justice system and to just, 3 to 5 years. Can you believe that? Just, it's tough. It's got to be tough for these families, man.
From not only taking my sister's life, but trying to take financial everything away from her. And as you probably, many of you have been there, you've sat through it, how miserable it's been. But I'd like to give a thank you to Catherine Sulla as a judge. I don't know her personally, but she sat there for hours listening to lies and deceit from not only Warner, but his lawyers, trying to take everything there was financially away from my sister. And that's horrendous. And I'd like to commend her as a judge. She put up with it, tolerated it, and sorted it out. And I believe was extremely just, and I don't think there's anyone disagree with that. So for her, I thank you.
We truly love you too, Miranda. Miranda's an awesome person. Miranda is always in these chats. She's dealing with her own things over there. But we're always thinking about Miranda. Miranda's a great person. Always there for you, Miranda, for sure. Have a good night, Marv. Have a great, safe weekend. Marv is awesome. I've been watching Marv for, I don't know, 4 years, probably 3 or 4 years. Easy.
And Judge Firzauer, who presided over the preliminary hearing, which is obviously history now, came in as a visiting judge when other judges weren't able to hear it or couldn't hear it or didn't want to hear it, and sorted out so many different factors from just a total mirage of facts, of untrue facts and deceit, and gave a judgment that was allowing or bound Mr. Warner over for trial. That's without the information we had now. So for that, we appreciate her judicial behavior and her professionalism. And again, I don't know her either, never met her. It was certainly,
this person right here is a really, really strong person. Tons and tons of respect for that guy. Just, it's hard to do this stuff. It's not. All right, what am I doing here? All right, let's hold on a second. I want to play this one here. This happened 2 days ago, too, in Tennessee. Let me share this. I might go back to that in a second because that was a pretty good cold case that got solved, that D. Warner case. But let me share this here. All right, so 29-year-old Tennessee woman was reported missing on August 4th by her close friend after she stopped responding to messages. 5 days later, investigators found Rebecca Maxfield unalived inside a car in the middle of a cornfield. Joshua Wayne Goff was arrested and charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence in connection with her unaliving. So this is a long crime, and this is that case here.
Very well make it be some sort of homicide.
So could murder charges be on the way? That remains to be seen. But what we do already have is a suspect in custody.
All right, here we go.
Body is found, and it's not somewhere you'd expect. It's in the middle of a cornfield, and that's just where the mystery begins. So far, no one's been charged in her death, and investigators aren't even saying how she died. But our experts have their own ideas about what really happened.
I do have a strong suspicion that they may very well make it be some sort of homicide.
So could murder charges be on the way? That remains to be seen. But what we do already have is a suspect in custody, charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. So did that suspect kill her?
It looks like there was something that happened and that he may very well have been responsible for it. We don't know yet, but the puzzle pieces are kind of leading us to that conclusion.
Today's story takes us to Smithville, Tennessee. It's about an hour and a half southeast of Nashville. Smithville wasn't a name that I recognized, so I looked it up, and it turns out it's a pretty small city. It's large enough to be categorized as a city, but its population...
Well, that's awesome, Miranda. I'll probably go back to that in a little bit. That's awesome that you're going to go to the court hearing. That's great.
is only about 5,000 people. It's in DeKalb County, Tennessee, and is surrounded by several other rural counties, including Warren. Remember that name. It's going to come back. So the reason we're talking about Smithfield is because of this woman, 29-year-old Rebecca Maxfield. In early August, Rebecca disappeared. Friends and family were completely in the dark about where she could have gone. So after a few days, one of her friends reports her missing. This is on August 4th. That's when the investigation is open and law enforcement do start looking for Rebecca. And where's the first place to start? With her cell phone. That pinged for the last time in Warren County. Remember, the one neighboring Rebecca's home county?
Right, Gail? I mean, Tennessee has been really active lately for true crime. It's weird.
The investigation continues then until August 9th, when officials find Rebecca's body. She's in a car in the middle of a cornfield. It takes some time, but there is an arrest in her case, and that's this guy, 43-year-old Joshua Wayne Goff. But remember, he's not even accused of her murder. Instead, he's up against charges of tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse. So that's the basics of what we know right now about Rebecca's death, because the case is still under investigation and authorities aren't saying much. More on that part later. But as far as Joshua Goff's 2 charges, criminal defense attorney Meg Strickler has some ideas.
Well, whenever you have the abuse of corpse as kind of an initial charge, you kind of wonder, they know more. And so they're kind of doing this as a placeholder to get him arrested, get him in jail, put him in with a higher bond so that he doesn't get out while they can continue their investigation. I could guess that more charges will follow, and I could guess the harsh charges.
So before we get into all that, let's jump back to the start of the case. This is in early August, and our victim in this case, 29-year-old Rebecca Maxfield, goes missing. Her friends haven't heard from her in a couple of days. So to me, this is important that her friends reach out and file this missing persons report, contact the authorities. But at what point should somebody really contact the authorities if they haven't heard or seen a family member?
Well, it's interesting. You know, in the past decade, there's been laws enacted for children. And so it's interesting to see that there should be more laws enacted for adults as well. So you say, what point, if I were to say someone was missing an hour, if I went to the police, they'd be like, well, come back after 24 hours. That's kind of the norm. So it's really what they said to the police initially that says, look, she has not done this. She's not done that. She's not done this. She is most definitely not in the normal places. She is missing. We need to set the alarms. That's when normally these things are taken seriously by the police. It's not normally a time frame. It's more the actions of the individual who's missing. If they always go to Pilates at 8 a.m. and don't show up, if they're always at school and don't show up, these things.
If that case goes to trial in October, I'll be shocked. Hey, Grandma Sherry, how are you? Good to see you.
Those are kind of obvious, and then the police take those stories much more seriously.
Honestly, this story we're talking about today, the one about Rebecca Maxfield, is a really tough one for me to tell. It is close to home, and her death is a tragedy. But I think it's an important story to tell. And one of the reasons I'm able to tell you this story is because of our sponsors. That's products like City Lips. Now, I recently started using City Lips, and I love it so far. Of City Lips with the code LAW15, or go to citybeauty.com/LCnews. I think what's kind of tough with this one is that her friend reported she hasn't seen this woman in a couple of days. So we already have a few days that have just been gone. And we see this all the time in TV shows, movies. They say the first 24 hours is the most important. And it really is. So do you think that could have been a hindrance in finding Rebecca Maxfield?
Yeah, it does. But it makes it more difficult for the investigators to kind of trace her steps if they don't know when was the last person that saw her. But the good news is 2024, her car, she would have had her computer, she would have logged into Gmail, whatever. Those things will pinpoint the last time she interacted with the world. And I think that's going to be pivotal as to when did she fall off.
I just want to reiterate how grateful I am to have everybody in the chat tonight. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for spending some of your busy time with me here on my channel. I really appreciate it.
The technological cliff here and really for real go missing.
Meg's right. And this is something we talk about in almost every case we cover. Cell phone data is almost always key evidence in a case. And even if it's not the smoking gun, so to speak, it's commonly used to track down victims or their perpetrators. And there's a major reason why. So the technological side of things, that's something we talk about in a lot of our cases because most of us have a cell phone with us almost at all times. And we know that investigators say her phone pinged in Warren County. That's where she was last seen. What other information do you think that they would be taking from her cell phone?
FARQ's awesome. I gave you a wrench, FARQ, and I gave who else? Mustang a wrench too, I think. But if anybody else wants a wrench, let me know. I know I'm going to give Marv one. Miss Barbara Hall for sure.
And they're still searching for her.
The pinging is absolutely pivotal because it's kind of cool that they can kind of pinpoint where a phone was.
I'm telling you, man. I know a lot of people concentrate on DNA and stuff like that these days, but cell phone data and digital forensics is a big factor these days too. Why these people take their cell phones with them every time, it's beyond me, but keep doing it. You know, it's like cell phone pings, all of that stuff.
And more importantly, what else could they get? The last texts. Did she go on Snapchat? Was she on Signal? Was she on Telegram? Like, who knows? But you can get that off of the phone, knowing what products she used. You can subpoena Facebook. You can subpoena Instagram. You can, well, they're the same. You can subpoena whatever and get the information from the phone on the opposite side. So you can get the phone itself, but then you can get the product, Google, for example, as well. And all of those things together will help draw a map as to what she did in her last moments.
And it seems like investigators did do that. They kind of zeroed in on where she would be. And when she was eventually found, she was in a cornfield. And this is in Smithville, Tennessee. Pretty small area, pretty rural. So cornfields, that makes sense. But to have a body found in a cornfield, to me, that right from the jump is mysterious.
What we would call a red flag. I mean, that's just odd at best. And there'll be some storyline ultimately as to why it's there. I mean, I immediately jumped to we were trying to hide it there because if anybody's ever been in a cornfield, it's real easy to get lost, but it's also easy to lose things in there, if you know what I'm saying. So I have a feeling it was she and the car were stashed in there to have it be lost for a long time.
The next thing to focus on is the timeline of when Rebecca went missing, when her body is found, and then when the announcement is made. Another interesting thing about all this is that they found her body and news reports said, hey, we have a body that was discovered in this cornfield. But for several days, almost a week, they didn't say who it belonged to. So it took kind of a while in order to identify her. Why do you think it would have taken that long?
It could be any number of things. Perhaps there's something having to do with the dental records. Could be just a glitch with computers. Could be notifying the next of kin. I don't really read into that as being particularly problematic. I think they want to make sure they have it right before they publish it to the press.
Investigators did eventually announce that Rebecca had been found to the press, and a lot of local stations actually reported on it. So her community knew that she was found, but investigators left out a major bit of information. We also have a couple of question marks in that we don't know how she died yet. Investigators say this is still under investigation. Please send us any tips, things like that. So if it was a natural death, let's say.
The Southern gal, you're too funny. Children of the Corn. Didn't they do a Children of the Corn 2 and 3?
Would they even still have an investigation open? I mean, that kind of gets me thinking that they would say, okay, she passed from whatever condition or whatever it may be. So to me, them not revealing this cause of death makes it seem a little more mysterious.
Well, again, I think they're not going to publish it until they're confident. And obviously there is some question. And so until they get that question answered to a comfort level, they're not going to say how she died. Usually, as you are aware, they might say undeclared, undecided, we don't know yet. And I think that's where.
What a beautiful girl. You know, just what a waste of life. Just sucks.
We're at, and they're not going to declare it one which way or the other. but I do have a strong suspicion that they may very well make it be some sort of homicide because they have arrested this other gentleman with, having he was pinged nearby this cornfield. And that kind of makes me think, as we kind of put the storylines pieces of the puzzle in together, it looks like there was something that happened and that he may very well have been responsible for it. We don't know yet, but the puzzle pieces are kind of leading us to that conclusion.
All right. So that's that. Again, I'll try to follow this case too. But I agree with the analysts here that they probably locked him up so that they can get more information regarding this unaliving. I think there's probably going to be more charges coming from. I want to play this one too. All right, so I want to play this. I'm going to go back to this here. This was done a day ago here. Hold on a second. Let me share this. I'll go back to this one here because this is the this is the Mamta Bhatt's husband accused of unaliving her, dragging body from her home. Court. These are the court documents of what he's actually being charged with, I think. So let's go to this here.
On our big story at 10 also out of the Manassas area. That's where the investigation into the fate of missing mother Mamta Koffel continues. Fox 5 first to bring you the breaking news of the disturbing case. Her husband just in court for his first hearing. Neighbors now speaking out. Stephanie Ramirez has been covering the story. She joins us now live from Prince William County with the latest for us. Steph?
Good morning, guys. And he was held by the judge. But even before that 8:30 hearing today, I got a hold of court documents that said prosecutors are accusing the husband of murdering his wife, pointing to physical and electronic evidence. Guys, Naresh Bhatt is the husband, and her body has not been found yet. The court documents saying that investigators found evidence in the family's Manassas Park home indicating that her body was inside the residence and dragged out. And while in court, prosecutors say Bhatt gave conflicting stories about the last time he saw his wife. 28-year-old Mamta Koffli Bhatt went missing on July 27th. Her husband telling authorities that she was in Texas or New York visiting family, even though she has no family here. They're all in Nepal. On July 30th, the county prosecutor said Bhatt went to a Chantilly Walmart to buy a pack of 3 knives, but only one was recovered from the home when police carried out an extensive search warrant with this was on Wednesday that they started. And we're told that Bhatt was seen in a Loudoun County Walmart's surveillance video purchasing a number of cleaning supplies. And believe not long before that, the husband showed proof of being at a Loudoun County cafe. The prosecutor saying the Loudoun Tower was also in Loudoun County. Now, those in court today to support the 28-year-old mother, wife, and former nurse, they are devastated.
What we heard was worse than we could have ever imagined. I have to give credit to the Commonwealth attorneys. She spoke as frankly as she could, but the details are absolutely shocking.
And it was also said in court, guys, that Bhatt had sold his Tesla, was talking to at least 2 people about short selling his home, and that investigators could easily see he and his daughter's passports when they entered into the home. The former colleague you just heard from there, I did ask her what's going on in the community. She said everybody right now is asking what more they could have done. She said Mamta did call for help in some of her social media posts with people responding that it's not right, you need to contact police. But she says no one ever grabbed her arm to make sure that she got that law enforcement help she needed. The community hoping that never happens again as the search here in Manassas continues. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much for those updates. We appreciate it. We'll check back in with you throughout the morning.
All right, so that's that. I do want to do a little bit of this case. Hold on a second here. So this is going to kind of be a little bit triggering here. This was done a day ago. And this is also from Law and Crime Network here. Almost said Law and Order. All right, so let's do this one here. So, team lured to her unaliving by student. She got expelled from school. Owen Shover, now 23, was convicted of first-degree unaliving in the death of Aranda Briones, 16 of Moreno Valley, California. Prosecutors say Briones and Shover had been skipping school back in 2017 when a truancy officer approached them. Shover tried to get Briones to hide a gun for him, but Briones told the officer what happened. All right, here we go.
A teen girl disappears and is never heard from again. We are breaking down this chilling story from the investigation to the evidence to what happened in trial, all with former FBI agent Bobby Ciccone. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. I'm going to tell you a story.
Hello, Charlotte. How are you? Good to see you. Charlotte's in the house. Charlotte's here. They used to have truancy officers years and years ago.
And many of these details are laid out in a prosecutor's trial brief in this case. But we go back to November 16-year-old Aranda Briones. And that morning, she apparently decided not to go to school, rather skip class, hang out with her friends at a nearby park. But there was a sheriff's school resource officer who was looking for truants, and he approaches the teens, and they all reportedly run away. And one of those people there was Owen Skyler Shover. And reportedly, he had a handgun on him. So seemingly out of fear of getting caught, he apparently tosses the gun to Aranda, telling her to hide it for him. And she just ends up throwing it into a drainage canal out of fear. So that sheriff's officer sees this, catches her, and she admits, including to the school administrators, that Shover had the gun and told her to toss it. So what happens? Aranda and Shover are both expelled. They have to enroll in continuation schools. Shover actually moves out of his mom's place, ends up living with his father. And authorities say Shover was furious at Aranda for what she did to him. And he ended up taking out his revenge on her 2 years later. Evidence shows through social media messages that he tried to buy a gun between November 18th and January 2019. And guess what? He ends up getting one. January 12th, 2019, authorities say he texted Aranda to come meet with him, that he was going to be making a series of drug deals, and that he was planning to rob drug dealers. She apparently agrees, gets into his car on January 13th, 2019, and apparently 2 witnesses see her get in that car. And another way that we know that she was in the car at this time is because she posted on social media pictures of her in Shover's car. But authorities say this was when Aranda was never seen again. They say Shover killed her. And to this day, her remains have never been found. According to Riverside District Attorney Mike Hestron, this became a homicide investigation because detectives found extensive and compelling evidence that the defendant, Owen Shover, meticulously planned and carried out the murder of Aranda. So this is part one of the story. For part two, I want to bring on right now attorney and former FBI agent Bobby Ciccone. Bobby, thank you so much for coming on. We haven't even gotten to all the other evidence and what happens next in the story. But first, my question to you is, how does he get a gun? How does he get a gun again after everything that happened?
Well, I mean, look, he's not. He had a gun originally, so he actually knows how to, obtain weapons.
Yes, Jenny. Let me know if you want a wrench. Healthy, preemie girls. Congratulations. That's awesome.
These are black market weapons that are sold on the street all the time between gang members, drug dealers. You know, in this country, it's a lot easier to get an illegal gun than a legal gun in some places. And so here in California, there is a pretty extensive gang problem. And these gangs trade in guns just like they trade in drugs. And so he's a guy who already had a gun in the original incident. And then, once he had to get rid of that one, in the way you described, and he went about trying to find another one. And it took him a couple of weeks, but that's not unusual here. But yeah, all over the country, I think, certainly when I went to New York City.
Friends like that, who needs enemies? Congratulations, Heather. That's awesome. Thank you, Jenny. Like I said, if you want to wrench, anybody wants to wrench, let me know. I sound like a broken record here. The Crips are going to be joining the OnlyFans gang. All right, let's get back to this here.
It was pretty easy to obtain an illegal weapon, and here in California is no different.
And by the way, we don't know definitively if he used the gun on Rhonda because we don't have her body. We don't have an autopsy report. We don't know definitively. I will say, going back to what I laid out, social media posting. So the fact
I think next week for the live, if I don't change my mind again, I'm going to try to get back into some of these deep dives here with everybody else. Hopefully I have my new computer by then, because that'll help. Because I like to do all the mapping and stuff. I like to go into the real deep dive. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to get back into some of the missing, and I do want to get into the long haul trucker stuff too. So I guess that's to be announced. I guess I don't know.
that she apparently took photos while she was in the car, that has become such a key piece of evidence now in investigation. Like the way we talked about cell phone data, and I'll get into that in a second too, but social media now has become a way, right, Bobby, to track.
More twins in the family. This is the third. This is set 3. There have been 3 sets of twins in your family. That's amazing. That's got to be a record.
People's locations, their movements. In a way, we say everybody posts on social media, but sometimes it can be key evidence.
Oh, these kids live. I mean, these are young people, right? These kids live on their phones. It's TikTok, it's Snapchat, it's Instagram stories, right? And she selfies herself with this guy in the car saying, "I'm with my homie." This is one of those things that kids live on these phones, and you're going to be able to find a lot about their lives right up to the moment if they disappear or whatever happens to them. I mean, they live moment to moment on these phones.
Such a sad case that we see too often. But as I say, it's important to get these stories out there, not only expose what happened with these victims, but maybe to provide a warning to those in similar situations. And the truth is, we are able to continually do that. We're able to continually bring you these stories in large part because of the support that we get from our sponsors. And I'd like to quickly call one out, one of our great partners who actually does something that is really cool that you guys will probably like. It's called Upside, and it is a free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials screen. And use our promo code SIDEBAR. And okay, let's get back into it. I talked about cell phone data. So actually on that note, authorities were able to use cell phone data and surveillance footage on city cameras and security cameras to track Chauver's car. And it appears.
Yeah, I think I did a little bit on that guy last week. The long haul trucker. Definitely. Yes. Warren Alexander, Luther Warren Alexander. He's the one where one of the girls got away. Yeah, I'm going to try to get back into the long haul trucker stuff here. For sure. Absolutely.
The car was around the Box Springs Mountain for about 20 minutes. And then at around 6 p.m., the car turns towards the San Bernardino area and it heads towards a mobile home park. Bobby, again, talking about evidence, the cameras are everywhere now. It becomes increasingly difficult for people to stay out of sight, right?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about building timelines, and the cameras help you build that timeline. They show you where and when somebody is at a particular place at a particular time in a particular vehicle with a particular person. I mean, it's amazingly great tool to build timelines.
How accurate cell phone data, though, right? I mean, we talk about that in so many cases. Brian Koberger case, we've spoken a lot about that. How accurate is cell phone data?
It is accurate. I mean, and it's getting.
Yeah, I know that I'm pretty sure it was Warren, the guy, Warren Luther Alexander, who, pretty sure one of the girls fought really hard back, and he was trying to blame her for the whole incident. But I know there's about 800 missing cases that they're linking to these long haul trucker unalivers.
Getting more accurate all the time, just like GPS used to be not so accurate. Now it's much more accurate. And with technology, and I, like, you know, that I was a juror on a murder trial with special circumstances here in California last year. I was the jury foreman, and we had
I mean, to me, it's one of the most perfect alibis you could think of, right? Because these guys aren't in one area very long. They're always in different states. You know, a lot of these big truck stops are, you know, frequented by, you know, SWs. And it's easy to just, you know, get one of those into the truck and then do whatever you want and just flee the state. No one would ever know until it was too late. So I think it's important to get that message out there. I can see if I have wrenches in green.
a lot of cell phone data in that case, and they tracked the person, the suspects. There were 6 suspects in the conspiracy, and they tracked their movements with their texts. And again, it's a piece. It's not determinative. It's a piece, but when you marry it up with other things like text or like a car going by on a security camera, it helps you build all of that together. So even if it's not directly accurate to like a foot of where the person is, you can certainly see movement. And when you marry that with video, or you marry that with eyewitness data or eyewitness statements, that really helps you kind of fill out the picture.
And it's not just the data.
Also, these new cars, a lot of these new cars have GPS built right into them in the computer system. So, I mean, they're using a lot of that technology to help.
The location data.
I think the so-called black boxes, like they have in, you know, planes and stuff, they're starting to install those into newer vehicles.
Phone is turned on and off. Why do I say that? I'll explain. Because it's during this time that authorities say Shover messaged his older brother, Gary Shover, on Facebook, writing, quote, "Be ready for tonight. Get shovels and lighter fluid ready." Before I get back into the cell phone evidence, Bobby, how many times do you see suspects blatantly write messages like this? I mean, what?
My dad's mom had 2 sets of twins plus 5 more kids. My mom's mom had a set of twins. You have like 50 cousins. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, I wanted to say something about to Southern Gal. I remember her saying something about doing a live some night with everybody. I'd love that, you know. So if you can coordinate it with Arctic Fox maybe and whoever else wants, that'd be awesome.
What are they expecting?
Arctic Fox is awesome. I never mention him, but you know, he's a great guy. Does a lot of great work on the missing. Big advocate. He's got a great channel. Great guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's the only way we communicate anymore, right? These kids don't even like to talk on the phone. Like
Right.
Phones were made to talk, and they're actually anxious. They don't like to. I've actually had young people where I communicate with them, and they go, "Just text me. Why are you calling me?" Like, you know, because we like voice communications, we like face-to-face communications, and they actually prefer text. They're more comfortable texting, not realizing that that text is now a record of that communication somewhere, just like writing it down. In the case where I was on.
I mean, that would be awesome. We could just talk about anything. I mean, we can talk about true crime and stuff too, but yeah, I'm all in for that for sure. Southern Gal has a phenomenal channel. I love her channel. She's just great.
On the jury, I mean, they deleted all those texts, but they recovered them. The computer experts recovered the deleted texts and they used them at trial. So yeah, these kids are more comfortable texting than they literally are talking.
Okay.
Right. So that's that. I want to play one more, then I'll get out of here. I wanted to play this one earlier, but I couldn't find it, but now I did. So let's go to this one here. Hold on a second. Southern Gal is awesome. Southern Gal is, she does amazing work, literally. All right, so this is, I'm going to rewind this here. Arkansas mom acting as informant was unalived, dumped in a storage bin by a drug dealer per the family. So this was done 2 days ago. The body of Troy Alexandria Strope Staggs, 42, was found inside a storage bin near Arkansas Highway by teens riding four-wheelers, while several suspects have been arrested on charges of unaliving and there we go, abuse of a corpse again. Not much information has been released about the case. Family members have launched their own investigation into what happened. So here's the case of Troy Alexandria here. We'll play this one for let's. Probably won't play the whole thing. We'll play a little bit here.
The shocking and horrifying death of a woman out in Arkansas whose body was found in a plastic storage tote just off of a highway. With limited information out there, we sit down with the victim's aunt to hear her side of what she thinks is happening, both behind the scenes and why her niece was savagely killed. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. I want to talk to you about a case that you might not have heard of, and I'm not surprised because there really hasn't been a ton of reporting on this, and it is very, very disturbing. And I will tell you what, it's a bit confusing, too, on a few different levels, because this concerns the absolutely brutal...
It wouldn't be a chat without Dean and Heather. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
Brutal killing of Troy Alexandria Strope Staggs, age 42, out of Forest City, Arkansas, married mother of three. Let's go back to February 20th. A group of teenagers who were just riding around on four-wheelers that day discovered Troy's naked, decomposed body inside of a plastic storage tote. This was alongside St. Francis County Road 731. And it appears that a DNA sample was analyzed to confirm that this was, in fact, Troy's body. Now, Troy's family, they have provided us, document also provided to us was a description of the possible injury sustained by Troy. But since this information is so brutal and it hasn't been publicly released at this time, we're not going to share it here. But needless to say, according to the family, Troy was massacred. And even though there is limited information about this heinous crime that's being reported, we do know that there have been several arrests made in connection with Troy's death. So first to be arrested was 45-year-old Micah Lacey. He was charged with first-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, and felony weapons charge. And interestingly, it was reported that Lacey was a person of interest since February, but he wasn't arrested until June. Then we had the arrest of 41-year-old Corey Jerome Anderson, who was charged with abuse of a corpse. And just this month, we had a third arrest, 50-year-old Willie Smith, charged with tampering with evidence and possession.
Thank you, Mustang. I gave you a wrench, by the way. See, that's one thing I couldn't do. I wouldn't be able to watch any of these things on my phone, although I do at night when I'm driving around. Mustang is awesome too. Thank you, Mustang. Good, you guys.
Of a firearm.
Yes, Southern Gal, this is a very interesting case here.
And to be clear, these are just initial charges. They haven't been convicted. And again, we don't have a ton of information about what led authorities to these three men or what evidence authorities may have. I will tell you this, though, regarding Laci. We got our hands on this report that Laci allegedly pulled a fire alarm in the St. Francis County Detention Center after he was arrested. And he allegedly told a corporal, "This is what you get for not moving me last night." The detention center was shut down for about 2 hours. This caused extensive water damage to the cells from the sprinklers. Laci's been charged with impaired operation of vital public facility, and he was charged as a habitual offender after he's been previously convicted of multiple felonies. Now, Police Chief Ronald Broussard told local media that Troy was a friendly face.
Have a great night, Grandma Sherry. Thank you so much for coming in. It was great to have you here. Always welcome in the chat. Have a safe weekend. Thank you so much.
That he'd seen often. Quote, whenever she'd see me, she'd say,
Whenever she'd see me, she'd say, I'm 1052, 1052, as I'm clear. I have no warrant.
1052. 1052 means I'm clear. 1053 means I have a warrant. She was just a sweet lady. No one deserves to die such a heinous, unforeseen death. A GoFundMe has been set up by Troy's family. We'll put it up there. And in the post, the family talks about.
Oh, is this still going on, this GoFundMe? It must be. This was done a day ago. I'll probably share some to this, donate some of this here.
About their struggles with getting more information about the death of Troy and how they need legal help, how they are looking for legal counsel during the course of this process. And as I mentioned, the family was kind enough to send us a lot of notes and materials of their impressions, their accounts. For instance, they claim there were multiple crime scenes, that the authorities are in possession of video evidence, a possible video of Troy before she died, or a cleanup. Again, this isn't official. This is their words. And they also allege that Troy may have been a confidential informant and was killed because of that. Now, to give you a sense of what you're about to hear, one of the things that the family sent us.
Doesn't that sound too, I don't know. That sounds so ordinary, right? That would be kind of ordinary for that to happen. I don't know. I might get back into the Mara Murray case too. I'm not sure.
Was an information, arrest warrant, an affidavit concerning a series of drug charges against Michael Laci. And in the section titled Facts Constituting Probable Cause, it states, quote, during the week ending November 5th, 2023, I, Detective Sergeant Preston Gracie, was contacted
by CI 2020-00 in reference to making a control buy from Michael Laci, aka Mike. The informant advised me that Mr. Laci contacted him and advised that he had methamphetamine for sale, and that he wanted to meet at his residence. There you go.
By CI 2020-007 in reference to making a controlled buy.
That's confidential
from Michael
informant.
Laci,
That's the number.
AKA Mick. The informant advised me that Mr. Laci contacted them and advised that he had methamphetamine for sale and that he wanted to meet at his residence. It should be noted that CI 2020-007 is a trusted informant that has provided trustworthy information in the past with the Forest City Police Department. I met with CI 2020-007 at a predetermined location. The informant was then given a predetermined amount of money to make the controlled buy. The informant was equipped with a surveillance device. As the informant arrived, a barbecue grill and a bicycle could be seen on the front porch of the residence. The informant then enters the residence and sits at the table. Due to the crystal clear video, I was able to identify the suspect as Mr. Michael Laci. Mr. Laci is seen on the video activating a digital scale. Mr. Laci then pulls out a large clear bag that contained a clear ice-like substance Mr. Lacey then takes some of the clear ice-like substance out of the clear bag and places it on the scale. Mr. Lacey then takes the clear ice-like substance off of the digital scale.
Places it in a clear bag. Mr. Lacey then hands the clear ice-like substance to the informant.
And places it in a clear bag. Mr. Lacey then hands the clear ice substance to the informant. The informant then exits the residence and immediately returns back to my location. Upon making contact with the informant, I was handed a clear bag that contained a clear ice-like substance. And then it goes on to state that the clear ice-like substance field tested positive for methamphetamine and yielded an aggregate weight of 4.2 grams. Hey, by the way, thank you so much for coming to Sidebar to hear us talk about this story. It definitely needs more visibility. And one of the reasons we're able to do that, to present these stories for you each and every day. But where I want to start before we get into all that is I just want to know how you and the family are doing right now.
It's a struggle every day. Yesterday was 6 months that they found the tote, and every day we live it. Every day, every morning, every night. It's just haunting and horrific, and we just cannot.
These poor people. I'm going to have to do a deep dive into this. This is an interesting case here. I can see why you've been advocating for this, SG.
When I was going through the documents and I was going through your notes, the word that kept coming to my mind was frustration. There felt like a lot of frustration.
That they sealed all the documents, and we gave them tons of information, tips, and they gave us nothing.
When you say by the way, do you mean law enforcement?
It's not unusual for them not to tell the family things, though. It's very rare that the family knows a lot of stuff when it comes to some of this stuff. And I think they should be a little bit more forthcoming to the families. Because I think, it's like what's going on in Sebastian Rogers' case. You know, the stepdad, in my opinion, doesn't have anything to do with it. And they haven't cleared him yet, which is weird. And that just kind of, exacerbates the conspiracy theories. It's like, but once they clear the family, I think they should be able to at least delve over some information. But law enforcement won't tell the family much at all.
Prosecutors, who are you referring to?
Yes, both. Law enforcement, the detectives. Every time I would call, they would say, we can't give any information.
Charlotte, you are a peach. You really are. You are awesome. We love you here in this chat. I try to come on as late as possible so that I can, I know your time frame is a little different than ours over here, but we love to see you in the chat. It's not a chat without Charlotte, that's for sure. You're awesome.
It's an ongoing investigation. Even after the arrests were made, they didn't want to give us any information. So it's very frustrating because we know they're hiding something. And the hiding is what makes us dig deeper. And it's what makes us try to figure out what really.
And, I don't want to keep beating this dead horse here, but, I think this has been part of the problem in the Delphi case from the beginning. They've been very tight-lipped, and I understand why law enforcement is tight-lipped about stuff, but, you have to get out in front of these things, because if you don't get out in front of these things, it creates this kind of conspiracy in people. And if you're as tight-lipped as they were in that case, it fuels the speculation. It just, and I'm myself for one, especially these days, I just don't like gag orders because I know, I know why the gag orders are put in place. They're there to kind of prevent the overall jury pool thing, But in this day and age with social media, you have all these different outlets. The gag order, in my opinion, is just kind of useless. You're gonna taint the jury pool anyways because of social media, and so if I was law enforcement, I try to get out ahead of these things as much as possible because I think they create their own animal, so to speak.
Happen because it was so horrific. There is no way that I would believe what the head detective told me, which is she was shot.
Hello, Michelle C. Good to see you. Gail, thank you so much for coming in. You're an awesome person. Have a great weekend. Get some good sleep. I'll be getting out of here soon, soon myself. Good to see Michelle C. in here. Thank you.
At the Buford house by Lacey, and she was disposed of, and it was over money. And I don't believe any thing other than she was shot by him. But there's a whole long timeline in between the time that she was shot and the time that she was put into the tote, and the involvement of the amount of people. It was so horrific. There had to be something going on other than what they are telling us. I don't believe it was over money.
These poor people, it's just all of this stuff just is so heartbreaking here. This person is such a good, looking person. It's just a waste of life, man. Just horrible.
I don't believe that he disposed of her. I've heard so many other stories that it's just unbelievable.
To be clear, and I went through the notes, do you believe that Troy was killed because she was working with police as a confidential informant? And why do you believe that?
Yes, we have come to that conclusion because as we dug through the documents, I'm going to give you a timeline. So the first warrants, 5 warrants, were issued on January 3rd. Then an arrest was made for Lacey on February 2nd. He went in front of the judge on the 5th. He was released on the 6th. And that was a charge of felony. So how he was released, the bond was set at $50,000. Those documents are not available to us, so how he got out.
But those were drug.
Hey, Karen Lee's here. Hey, Karen Lee, how are you? Good to see you. Karen Lee's in the house. Probably here to scold me. I know Miranda Lee had a case she wanted me to look into. But Karen Lee's here. Karen Lee is awesome.
Drug-related crimes?
Correct. So he gets out on the 6th. While he is out, Troy's body ends up found on February 20th. Sheriff May, who is the head of that county, says on national TV that her body was decomposed for about 2 weeks. The timeline is perfect for 2 weeks. So they identified her body. She was found.
I'm always giving Karen Lee a hard time on Animals Chat. I don't know why I do that. Karen Lee's fantastic. Usually probably because I'm on mute sometimes in this chat. I don't know.
On the 20th, they identified her body on the 26th. On the 29th of February, they went to the house with the warrant. Now, what they were going in there for, or how they would know to go there, is unbelievable. But they went in.
That's a little strange, huh?
Arrested him again. They confiscated forensics. To my knowledge, people are saying it was like 6 bags of forensics that got taken out of the home.
Wow.
And we were told after that, all they were doing is waiting on forensics. Meanwhile, he gets released again. And then in May 16th, they go back into the house a 3rd time. And at that point, they arrest him. He's been in jail since. But they took out, to my understanding, all the furniture in the house. Now, meanwhile, we've been giving them tips of all the stories on the streets. And the way we got those stories is we started a Facebook page in honor of Troy and a GoFundMe page to start a reward up to us. Now, the page was meant for grieving, sharing her stories, her pictures, all of us to have a place to vent.
See, I don't even pay Charlotte to say this stuff. I don't know how lucky you guys are. Yeah, he is a creepy looking dude. I agree with that for sure.
Share items, tell her life, and then it became private messages on Messenger, text messages to us, phone calls to us, and the list just never stopped. It's still going. The list says it's not complete. Information that needs to be put in there that'll to us, and it is very time consuming, but we are determined to get answers.
But just to clarify, what about that? Was it from the information you were getting from, like you said, people on the streets, that she was a confidential informant? What was it about it that you think that that's what she was?
It's got to be one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, as a confidential informant. I mean, no thanks.
Essentially killed over. And what was her job? What do you think she was supposed to be doing, and what was she killed over?
Okay, so Troy had three arrests.
Okay.
The middle arrest disappeared. That was in 2020. Troy, the CI number on all the papers that we pulled, my sister went into Arkansas documents of the courts and pulled all the arrests. All 5 documents of the people involved had the same CI number, 2020-007. So we have come to the conclusion that Troy was that CI for a few reasons. One, she took her child back to her husband right when that was happening and said, she'll be safer here. Troy would never leave her children or something that was, not serious.
I don't understand why they feel that way. And it happens a lot where these women will just pick up and leave their children for no reason. Like, it just, I mean, that in itself would raise a red flag to me.
And she then had to establish herself with these people in the drug scene. And in order to get them arrested, there was 10 buys, 2 for each of the guys. And all the documents are in the information that I gave you, and they're public knowledge. So you can go on there and you can pull it up and you can read. They're all similar, but they all have the same CI. And the reason we feel they failed her is not because she was a CI, because I've been told CIs die all the time, which I find utterly ridiculous, but we feel they failed her because they put that information on the paper.
That does sound like fun. 3 hours from Ballarat Goldfields, they have a place called Sovereign Hill. There were people there where people dress old time. You can pan for gold. Like, that sounds awesome.
Work that they gave these 5 guys, and they're all in the prison or the lockup together. So this is how they figured it out. Now, if you look up other people who are in the lockup, their CI information says this CI will be known as CI. No number, no nothing.
But just did you get clarification from law enforcement? Did they say?
No, they won't. They won't tell us
Did they even
anything.
say you're right that CI means the confidential informant number? They haven't given you any confirmation about this whatsoever.
No, but they haven't denied it either. They haven't reputed it anywhere, and we have put it even on our page. We have put it out there, and it's about to go all over in a letter, and they have not reputed it.
And you believe that is why they're not sharing more information?
Absolutely. I believe that Lacey started the killing. There were a bunch of people involved before she was dead. And the reason they have only charged Lacey and the other two gentlemen,
These are bad dudes here, man. These are the people you stay away from.
which is Corey Anderson and Willie Smith, they charged them on the back end as abuse of a corpse and anything else, is because they would have to make Lacey's charge capital 1, which would give him the death penalty, which we were told by the prosecutor will never happen.
Why?
And we believe that it's because his mother is a quorum peace justice of the peace in the county, and his stepfather is a mayor in the county, and therefore the power overrules the justice.
One question about that. If there is this idea of protecting Lacey, was he the target of, in your opinion, was he the target of the investigation that Troy was a part of? Was she supposed to be providing information about Lacey, or was she looking into other individuals? I guess that's the confusion, right? Were law enforcement really using Troy to get information about Lacey, which again would kind of be inconsistent with this idea of they don't want to go after him?
So there were 5 guys that had the same similar charges and that had that same CI. I don't think he was alone, that he was so furious that when he found out, he was making an example of her to say, if this is what you do, this is what's going to happen to you, because they cut her up and put her in a tote and put her on the side of the road for everyone to find.
Yeah, that to me sounds. Yeah, I mean that sounds like something that the cartel would do, because they want people to know not to mess with them. This was in Michelle C. This was back. I think Southern Gal knows more about this stuff than I do. This was a few years ago, I think. But I'll find that out. And 42 found out they don't give a date here. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. It's been a great live. Everybody here has been awesome. Yeah, it was February of this year, right? That's what I thought. Anyway, I want to thank everybody. Heather, thank you so much for coming in. Southern Gal, you're awesome. Thank you. You had a great live tonight. Go check out Southern Gal. She's great. Dean Johnson, thank you very much for coming in. Dean Johnson's awesome. Jenny, 8675309. I don't think I can forget that one. FARQ, thank you. Big Fish, Small Pond, thank you for coming in. Who else was in here? Charlotte, you're awesome. Karen Lee was in here. I think this is the most people I've ever had in the chat, so that's great. Who else was in here? Michelle C was in here. Thank you so much for coming in. Michelle C is awesome. Gail Hurd is awesome. She was in here. Barbara Hall, of course. Barbara Hall is awesome. We were always thinking about Barbara Hall. Miranda Lee was in here. Miranda Lee is awesome. Fire and Ice was in here. Who else was in here? Did I say Gail Hurd? Gail Hurd's awesome. Grandma Sherry was in here. I'll be giving people wrenches after I get out of here. So if you want a wrench, just let me know. Mustang 1965 was in here. Thank you, Mustang. You're great. Who else was in here? Also another thing. On my other channel, Danger Dave 2, we started the picks for the NFL season today on my other channel, me and my buddy. So I'll be doing that too. We run a pool every year. We go over the picks every week. I think every Saturday night before the game. So if you guys want to check that out, that's fine too. It's nothing true crime. It's just more football stuff. We do it every football year. Who else was in here? Charlotte, you're great. Did I mention Charlotte already? Yep. I hope Honeybee's all right. She wasn't in here tonight. I saw her earlier, though, on some other chat. Who else was in here? If I forget anybody, I'm sorry. It's a senior moment thing. It's literally freezing out here. It's going to be a tough fall if it's going to be this cold already. Who else was in here? Hope Necessarily Evil's all right. I haven't seen him either lately. Marv was in here. Marv is awesome. Marv is Beyond the Evidence is great. She's I'm going to give her a wrench here when I get out of here. Marv is an incredible person. She does great work. I've been watching her for forever. That's technically Bling was in here too. Bling's awesome. Thank you for coming in, Bling. That's where I met Mr. Steve, is on Marv's channel when it was Marv and Frank. All right, I think that's it. I think I got everybody. But like I said, if I missed somebody, I apologize. Barbara Hall, you're awesome. We're always thinking about you. Hopefully everybody signed a petition. I know I did. Need to get that case relooked at, reexamined. And Justice for Flora, too. That's where I saw Honeybee is on Coach Kev's channel tonight. All right, I think that's it. I think I'm good. Trying to scroll up here. Thank God we didn't have any major shit shows tonight. With the Curious Contrarian was in here. Curious Contrarian's got a great channel too. He's usually on late, like I am. And I think that's it. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to play an outro. Everybody have a great week. Great weekend. Yeah, I saw Necessarily Evil somewhere. He was on somebody's channel. But I want to thank everybody again. And also, I want to thank everybody on replay. I know I never mentioned people on replay, but I got a lot of people that watch replay. So thank you so much. Go and check out all the other great channels that were posted in here. And I'll see you guys all later. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great, great week. I'm going to attempt to play an outro. So here we go. Thank you, Southern Gal, for posting everything. Appreciate it. Criminality's channel is awesome. Yes, that's the other one. Sorry. Necessarily Evil is in here. He's a douche. Screw that guy. Necessarily Evil is awesome, too. He's a great guy. Just a great guy. Criminality is a great channel. She's fantastic. Literally fantastic. Been catching her stuff a lot lately. All right, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Everybody have a good night. I think I'm getting out of here. All right, here we go. Have a great week. Stay safe.